Do you remember Snapple? That tea company, little glass bottle, tin cap. You screw it off, and there's a little factoid underneath there for you, a little giggle. Here's my $1 billion pitch, Snapple. Okay, you buy a copy of Epstein's List, and you start putting them on the bottom of the caps. Signature series, the O Snap series, and you collect 200 bottles to find out all the members of the list. My DMs are open. Let's talk royalties. Last week was fantastic for trading. A little bumpy on Friday, I'll admit, but we still finished the week well into the green. Right now, the beginning of the year is pretty much playing out how I expected. We've been majorly short in the market. It's playing out well. We're seeing a rotation out of tech and into more value names in the Dow. And as I'm looking over the Dow, it looks like this bullish trend wants to continue. It is important to note, though, that even though we've had this overall bearish sentiment, the market melting down, we have seen some signs of life from the bulls, both on Tuesday and Friday. On Friday, coming back and defending this pretty pivotal support level from the looks of it. And I expect this to kind of turn into a chop zone in the upcoming week. If we do get a break to the upside or the downside from this 471 to 468, I'll be looking for some short-term plays in the upcoming week. And then there's Bitcoin. What do I even say about Bitcoin? I've been trying to chart this, trying to keep an eye on it. My earlier prediction was that we'd get the meltdown, and it looked like it was confirming, but we're seeing the TTM squeeze trying to breathe some life into this. We're also seeing the RSI manage to stay above 50, more bullish confirmations, seeming like this wants to go higher. So my thought right now is probably about a 50-50 chance that this is still a third wave, although I think it's showing some weakness. It's important to note that we're going to need to conquer the amount of volume that we had in the first wave for that to confirm. And then for the fourth wave, maybe we're looking for the ETF to actually be a downside catalyst. Remember, at this point, you've had months and months and months of news of these coming out. People have been buying and buying and buying in anticipation of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the actual release of it becomes a sale event. And given that we've had a complex second wave in this 5-wave development, I would expect that to be a quick wave to the downside. Now, I say still 50-50 chance because just with the way that this price action is developing, I wouldn't be surprised if this charting is actually wrong and we're going to need to do a reassessment here. At this point, I want to be watching this price action week over week and just seeing how this continues to develop if we're going to get some more hints at what is likely going on here. I wouldn't be too shocked if this turned into a wave one on the market, and then maybe your larger cycle is a different charting pattern that isn't quite obvious to me yet. I think you give this a few more weeks and it's going to be a lot more apparent, and then we'll be able to pretty much chart the rest of the year out. Bitcoin usually isn't this complex, so I'll be looking for a lot of opportunities here. I've been playing with Bitcoin futures a lot more as well, doing more futures trading in general, actually, as Discord members have harassed me into it, although it's been a fun experience so far. Now let's do a victory lap on OGM. I've been mostly short in my portfolio, but this was one of the bullish plays, and it's playing out very well. Remember, this was just a value play. I thought it was too deeply oversold. Sentiment was too far in the dumpster. It's a profitable, small pharmaceutical company, and we've made about 80% returns when I started taking profits. We're still up about 40% on the contracts, although we have seen the daily roll over. The weekly has improved, but still isn't over a 50 RSI, so you can't really necessarily say that it's bullish yet. And I really don't want to also hold these over earnings either. You know, we still have a month and a half, but I'm still keeping that as like a caution sign right now, due to the fact that this thing doesn't like to move much on earnings or just kind of goes down. So I'm not really wanting to hold that risk, and we are in decent profit. So if anything, I might leave a runner just so it's more top of the mind and I see it when I look at my portfolio so I don't forget about it, because there could still be some more room to run here. It might want to push up to 18 and be more fairly valued there. Maybe you get a push to the 20s. I want to see a recapturing of this previous high right here before I look to chase further to the upside, though. Now, given the fact that my portfolio is mostly bearish, I am constantly hunting for some bullish plays into this year, and one of those is Celsius. Position is already open. Shared it with Discord members this previous week. It was with some slight profits. We were up bigger, but we saw some choppy price action last week. This thing could be a big mover, although we have some catalysts coming up as they are going to be working with Pepsi to get more distribution in foreign markets, which has done really well for other energy drink companies such as Monster and Red Bull. We can see that the daily chart here is looking very strong. And I'm expecting the stock to potentially revisit new highs this year, if not go much higher. The growth here has been incredible. They're doing exceptionally well. And I like those calls and I like these catalysts. And I'm even fine holding this into earnings as well, all the way into March. And this is probably going to be a name that I watch all year long. And shout out to Jonah Elliott, who came on the podcast and first brought this to my attention. And don't forget, if you want to get notified when I set these trades up in real time, click the link down below, join the Discord. I'll tell you my entry price, what my target is, expiration, all of that. And then give updates on these long-term plays as well, showing you how I manage them in real time. And now let's talk about Baba. Now look, I'm mostly short in my portfolio, and I was looking for some bullish plays. I was looking for things that the sentiment was just dead in the water. Like there couldn't be any more downside. And I've been bearish on China for so many years. I'm looking at this price action. I'm looking at this double bottom both in 2015 and 2022. And I'm saying, okay, bulls defended both of those. We got big swings to the upside. This thing's so dead in the water. I'm just set up some long contracts here and see if I can just go for a trade. Remember, this is not an investment. However, in hindsight, I am breaking one of my rules to not really try and go for bullish plays on things that I'm not fundamentally bullish on. I've been trying some more sentiment plays like OGN. Some of them worked out really well. This is currently down 30%. It is a smaller play. However, I was probably better off just trying to play some more of these mid to small cap companies like OGN that were US based, because this is just not playing out in my favor. And right now the technicals have completely broken down. This play was working at first. We were up about 15%, but I continued to hold it. And then we saw the daily is completely breaking down. The weekly is also now breaking down. Bit of a fake out on the RSI and SMA cross, which is what I was looking for as a bullish catalyst further to the upside. We also don't really have the cleanest Elliott wave charting. This looks like a big sideways chop, probably a complex WXY charting that's playing out right here. So I'm looking at this right now saying probably need to cut this soon. The only thing that's keeping me in it at the moment is that our 1 hour and our 30-minute are starting to pick up a bit. If these can fire to the upside, we'll get a better exit. Maybe we come out even on this, maybe even slightly ahead and make some money. But this is just not looking that great. I will say that NIO looks a little bit better than Baba. I have small positions in both, but I think my money is probably better served in names like Celsius and a few others that I share on the Discord, or maybe even going for something like Leaps on CRISPR, which I think is looking interesting right now. This is looking like that would be in a better move, and I might go ahead and pivot into that. So, in conclusion, last week was overall fantastic. I know it was kind of a bummer on Friday. There were a few coin trades that didn't play out. Probably just need to stop touching that stock. That stock doesn't make sense to me right now. Bitcoin's also a bit confusing to me right now, but there's plenty of things that are textbook trades, textbook setups, good catalysts coming up, and our long-term big positions are playing out. We're making money. That's all that matters, right? I'm not worried about being wrong. And when I'm wrong, I'm going to call myself on it. Be pretty quick to do that. Make sure we cut the losers. We play into the winners. Stay nimble in this market. Do not become married to any of your beliefs, okay? You can love them, but don't marry them, all right? If they go sideways, get out, okay? No abusive relationships with any of these names or any of these ideas. And don't forget about your big dates this week. Thursday, we're going to have CPI. I'm making no predictions about that. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And we also have bank earnings coming out this week, and that will be the kickoff of what is usually a poor first quarter for election years. Okay, don't forget, that was the whole plan, right? And this sell-off is going to lead to opportunities. So we don't want to get stuck being too bearish. We don't want to turn into permanent bears. We want to use this sell-off as also an opportunity to start picking out some bullish names, as the Fed is likely to pivot, and the political pressure to keep the markets up into elections. Don't forget, be mindful, stay nimble. Let's do it.